Dan Holland here with SolutionToolbox.com. Now I've created a few videos now that showed you how to create a new template. The first way was obviously by scratch, and that's going in there and creating the HTML tables and the CSS and building your web parts and adding the content zones. I also showed you how to use the image to web technology, which allows you to upload a flattened image and then show you how to use the system to slice that image out and automatically create the layout. Today I want to show you one final way that you can create a template, and that's called the HTML import. Now this is a great tool if you already have an existing site, or if you already have an existing HTML code, or even if you purchased a template off of a website such as TemplateMonster.com. This is a great way to get that data in there. So to get started, we're going to go up here to Manage Layouts, and then we're going to come in here to Add a New Layout. I'm going to go ahead and give it a name here. We'll just call this import. And then instead of selecting Start from Scratch, we're going to come down here to Import HTML, and we're going to go ahead and say Create Layout. And the first thing that pops up is just a little bit of information about the import process. And if you click on our markup language here, you can see the proprietary code that we're going to have to use inside of our HTML to define the different zones. So I'll go over that with you here. Let me open up that's not what I wanted. Let me open up the site here. So if I open up this, we'll open this with Notepad here. Here's the HTML code that I have. This was an existing site that I had, and I wanted to dump it in here real quick so you can see all this fun HTML stuff, the body tags, everything like that. So what I did is I had to come in here and I had to wrap certain areas of my code with these proprietary code tags for Site Builder. So to show you an example, here this UL, this was my menu. And what I did is I came in here and I actually wrapped this menu with the menu tag. So you can see it's a code tag that we're used to seeing in the templates. And then I wrapped it all the way around. So here's the closing code tag. And let's see if I come down here a little farther. We can see here that I wrapped this area in my content tag. So it starts here, and I believe the closing tag is down here. So all this area here is going to be my main content area. And then I believe down here, yeah, I created a custom zone, so you can see my code tag here that I wrapped around the custom zone area. And then finally down here at the bottom, I also had a footer, so I wrapped this footer tag around this div for the footer here. And you can see all the markup code here. So you can see the content areas, the header tags, the footer tags, the custom content, the menu. So all you need to do is wrap these code tags around your existing HTML. Now the only thing that's required is the content area. You need to have one content area in your template and only one. That's the only requirements to do the import. So I'm going to go ahead and close this, and the first thing that's going to ask us to do is upload this HTML document that we have. So we'll go ahead and select our file, browse over here, import this, upload that. Okay, and then we'll say next. And then it's going to ask us for any CSS documents that may have been used for this site. Now the site that I had 2 external documents, so I'm going to go ahead and select those. Now if you used inline CSS, that's fine. You don't need to upload anything here. You can just skip this step. Template. Site. Okay, so here's my 2 CSS files, so I'm going to open those and upload them. Alright. Finally, it's going to ask us to upload anything else that the site is referencing. So these would be images, JavaScript files, XML files, things of that nature. So I'm going to go ahead and select these files. And I'm going to come down here. And I have an image folder. So here's all the images that were used on that site. So I'm just going to say Control A to select all of these guys and say Open. And you can see that they all load in here, and we'll just go ahead and say upload. Upload these real quick. Alright, now that that's finished, we'll go ahead and say import data. And it comes back and says the import's complete. So when we go ahead and hit the finish button, it should redirect us to the new layout that it created for us. Alright, so here's the template that it created. You can see my menu zone, the content area, you can see some of the custom content in the footer zones like that. we switch over here, you can see all the markup. It removed everything that we had wrapped and it had put it into a different area for us. So if we come up here and we look at our custom zones, for example, here it is, this import that it generated. So if we view this, you can see all the code that I had wrapped in the custom zone has been dropped in this area here. Likewise, everything that I wrapped in the menu tag was dropped over here inside the menus. You can see the menu content here. And then finally, anything that I wrapped in the content area, it automatically generated a home page for us, which you can see here. And if we look at that, we can see all the content there that was wrapped in those content tags. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here and I'm going to set this home page as the default, and we can take a look at it real quick. Save that. Then we'll just come over here to preview site. So here we can see the site that it recreated for us, and this was very simple. I already had all the HTML code. I just threw a couple extra tags in it to tell SiteBuilder how to do it, and you can see that everything's here and ready to go. So from this point we can just create some secondary pages, link up the menu, and we're all set.